Hi, my name is Charlotte, and this channel is about my attempt to become moderately competent at drawing. This week I'm going to be showing you a sketchbook tour of a sketchbook I filled in between December 2021 and July 2022. So just to give you 2 seconds of context, before this I exclusively used this kind of sketchbook, a little soft cover, very inexpensive sketchbook, and at this point, after I had been learning to draw for about 15 months, I decided that I would graduate myself up to a hardback sketchbook. I chose this one by Arteza. These are the details of the sketchbook. I actually don't love it. I find the pages are too ivory and the texture of the paper is a little bit rough. It's fine, it's just really not ideal for me. So let's get started. Be a relatively quick sketchbook tour because I don't necessarily have a lot of things that need a lot of explanation in this book. I would say by and large, my approach to using my sketchbook has been like use it to learn a thing and then practice the thing that I've learned. So starting out, these are the dates that I used it. This is my little character Buddy. He is a robot that I created for Inktober 2021. He popped up previously in my last sketchbook tour, which I will link down below. The first couple of pages were an attempt for me to practice a Christmas card design from a tutorial here on YouTube. I ended up not doing this, but this was all of my attempts to practice using watercolor pencils to produce that card. And then a few random oddments, a figure. There were a few figures dotted about in this book. I then looked at learning to draw birds. I was using a video called The New Bird Drawing System by John Muir Laws. I actually came back to this very recently, and I'll link the video for that as well. This is just some notes, and then drawing the birds along with the class. And then the next couple of pages are just a lot of birds overlapping in Col-Erase, Prismacolor Col-Erase pencils. And then a little bit more on this with just learning to draw some bird details, and then a few birds that I drew with pen and ink. For some reason, I draw a lot of mugs. This is the first of several pages of mug drawings. I also was practicing or thumbnailing a birthday card for my mum. And this is more of the same and more mugs. And this is, I had to do the actual birthday card in 2 attempts because I smudged this one really badly. So here's the attempt that went wrong. This is my 100-hour figure. I started figure drawing for the first time in mid-2021, and in January 2022, I drew this after I had done around about 100 hours of practice. So I just do this thing where every 100 hours, I draw a figure and try to see if I've improved in what I've learned. As you can see, I did a really bad job on this model's feet. So I ended up taking a Skillshare class on drawing feet, and this is some notes from that, and some more, and some other little figures that I obviously liked enough to stick in, and some more feet. There's a lot of feet in this sketchbook as well. Another figure. I also draw this a lot. This is like my go-to doodle. It's actually an exercise from Dynamic Sketching or Drawbox. Both do this, and for some reason I just really like it and do it a lot. And then I have a few pages where I was practicing ink practice and then doing some like little circular motifs. This is actually from a little book called Inky Wonderlands. And some more ink practice. And a little bit more ink practice. And then I also went to try to learn to draw hands a little bit better. So there's a few pages of hands, but first there is this spread of multiple figures. This was from a class I was doing on Skillshare. These were some of the outcomes from that. And another figure and some hands. I was trying specifically to get so that I could do something that looked hand-like in the context of a short gesture. So I managed to get to the point where I could kind of draw a hand in about a minute. Some eyes based on a tutorial online. This is from a Patreon account called Adorkastock. She did have this one little pack of like mermaid images, so I was doing little gestures of mermaids. Obviously very, very simple drawings. This is a set of swatches of Graphitin pencils that I was given by a friend. And then I was doing some more tree drawings. If you've seen my previous video, you'll know I do draw a lot of trees, and I was sort of practicing with markers because I had just got some markers as well as colored pencils. These are some notes from a class on Domestika called Expressive Architecture. I don't remember the artist's real name, but on Instagram he goes by House Sketcher. Really love his Instagram. And so I took his class on Domestika, took a whole bunch of notes, a bunch more, drew some rocks, trying to do some marker practice. More feet. Often on the back page of markers, I draw a lot of like really simple things or just a lot of studies because it really doesn't matter when you can't really see it all. And then I was practicing drawing houses. All of these three were based on that class I had taken. And then I was using pins from Pinterest. I think they're mostly kind of architecture pins for people who are quickly drawing in trees or foliage for architectural drawings of buildings. And I just kind of copied these, looking for a stylized tree type that I really liked to put in my own drawings of houses, and also one random portrait in one corner. More feet on the back page of where the marker is. This is some drawings of grass, some studies from a book, and again with mushrooms. This is probably my favorite thing that I drew in this book. It's a French chateau, and you can see me just starting to try to use that stylized foliage that I learned a few pages previously. And then on the back of the marker sheet, just some more of that dynamic sketching exercise, and I probably painted over something. I don't actually remember what, and this is just Posca pen over black gouache, which I had painted on top of whatever I didn't like. And on this side, a house that I really liked. I think this is all in colored pencil, and this is some more marker practice with houses based on that class I took. This is some notes on how to make really attractive sketchbook spreads, which I have never paid any attention to. So I don't have a single page that I would say follows any of these rules that I carefully wrote out. A page on drawing like little cartoon characters, and then another dynamic sketching exercise that I doodle these all the time. They're all over everything. It's just kind of mindless. Some more shacks. I was trying to use a single color palette for the entire page. And then something here again about like cartoon characters. Another set of buildings. And again, just really trying to kind of practice with pens. Some thumbnails for a Father's Day card for my dad, and some ideas in marker for that. And then I get into the hair/ribbons phase of this sketchbook. So I was trying to draw hair, as you can see, in a fairly stylized way. And somebody said to me, or I read somewhere, if you can draw ribbons, then you can draw hair. So for the next few pages, it's like hair. Oh, this is just some ballpoint pen practice. And another house. And here you can see these are exactly the same kind of stylized trees that I had learned here. So I just kind of copied them over and turned the trees in this particular image into that. It's just based on a Pinterest image I found of a building. So here we go. Ribbons, hair, ribbons, 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 hair, ribbons, 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 more ribbons, some trees, some bushes, some more ribbons. I really got into ribbons for some reason, some more trees. This was from a video. I actually really liked this. It was somebody showing how they put the low detail people into, I think they were an urban sketcher. And I really liked this, and I ended up drawing every person who walked past my house in this style. You can tell that I was probably drawing around 3 in the afternoon, 3 or 4, because these children are all in the local school uniform that go past my house. So I was just trying to draw people as they walked past and tried to capture them in these few little marks. So really kind of enjoyed doing that. These are all marker again. I think the actual tutorial was in watercolor, but it was the same technique. Then some plants on toned paper, and then I did a whole bunch of clothes with varying levels of success. So I had previously done some studies of drapery, and now I was just trying to apply that to clothes. So here's some notes. I actually like my socks walking along with no feet in them. So some skirts and some kind of fashion croquis type things. And then a whole bunch of different pages of clothes, some with marker coloring. I don't think any of these are particularly successful, but it was kind of my first time trying to draw clothes. You can see me trying to draw like simple poses to put people in clothes. And some more attempts at draped fabric. This was trying to do drapery with markers, which I hadn't done before. That one came out okay, but when I tried to do color, I just got all my light and shadow in the wrong place, so it just doesn't look dimensional at all. And a little bit more of that, some more little kind of stick figure things, a little bit more clothes, a little bit more drapery. This is another topic I come back to a lot because I really enjoy it, so you see it quite a lot. And then the very end of the sketchbook is just a whole bunch of like swatches and bits of things. So that was my sketchbook from December to July. It took me about 6 months to fill this, although I had about 2 months off in the middle. And I really enjoyed doing it. I hope you enjoyed this sketchbook tour, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.